Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Bordertown Strange. I'm Pam. This is my co-host, Jess.
What up?
And tonight we have with us a couple of fan favorites and members of the Bordertown crew, Mark Bannon and Enzo Cyril. Yay!
Hello.
In every photograph, there's a moment you meant to capture and the moment that you didn't see until later. For more than a century, cameras have been accidental witnesses, catching shapes in the dark, lights without sources, figures that shouldn't be there. And last week, we traced the history of some of these images, the hoaxes, the legends, the pioneers who believed that the lens could reveal the unseen. But tonight, we turn to the photographs that matter the most to us. These are the images taken by our own Bordertown crew, shot from abandoned penitentiaries, spooky hotels, century-old cemeteries, and quiet hallways where the air felt just a little too heavy. Pictures we've argued over, analyzed frame by frame, and carried with us for long after the investigations ended. And we'll be examining the most debated phenomena in paranormal photography. We've got the orbs, the rods, skyfish, solar entities, those flickers and streaks and shapes that hover between the natural and the unexplained. Some of what you'll see tonight has simple answers and some doesn't. And some of it, you're just going to have to decide for yourself. This is part 2 of our exploration into ghosts in photography. But before we get started, Jess, do you have some housekeeping?
Yep, just the usual. Like I always say, a huge shout out and thank you to everyone who subscribes and follows, hangs out in the chats. We love you so much. If you're hanging out, just give a really quick like and share, thumbs up, hit that bell and subscribe, and all the little fun buzzes and whistles for us. And if you're listening in right now on your favorite podcast provider, take a second and give us a rating. We would so appreciate that. I also want to remind everyone that you can go back and listen to our complete back catalog absolutely free. We apologize for the first show.
We'll just leave it at that. We just apologize.
We'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Apologies.
Of course, also send us your favorite topics. Let us know your own experiences. We would love to tell those. And I think that's it for the start. We'll get to some other stuff later. We'll talk a little bit of Paracon and stuff before we leave out.
Absolutely. And at the start of every episode, we like to kick things off with a little segment we call What the Weird Word. And this is where we pull a term from the paranormal world, something you might have heard of but never really had defined. And we break it down so everyone's on the same page. And this week is Jess's turn. So take it away, Jess.
Yay! So my words for this week, which all mean about the same thing, are air rods, skyfish, or solar entities. Now, this is going to be one of the first times that we are going to give you word or words that we don't actually believe in whatsoever. It's a complete farce, and it's been scientifically proven exactly what it is. And frankly, I think if anyone has a half a brain, you would know what it is without having to look into it very scientifically at all. But we're going to go over this because you're going to see them in photos sometimes. And if you're not sure what it is you're looking at, you might think it's something very weird. And there are still some groups around who really believe in this. Much to my dismay. But we're going to go over it, and here later on we're going to show a picture or two that has these in them. So, air rods, skyfish, or solar entities are elongated visual artifacts appearing in photographic images and video recordings, which is caused by the tracing of fast-beating wings of insects, the speed of which is faster than the shutter speed of the camera equipment being used. Once thought to be alien in nature, rods were purportedly discovered by Jose Escamilla in 1994 while filming a UFO in Roswell, New Mexico. He went on to become the most outspoken proponent of their existence. Escamilla gave them their name, popularized the concept, and transformed rods from an obscure film smudge into an intriguing new breed of mystery animal. While the false phenomena has since fallen out of favor, they are still regarded as real beings by a few, and is one of the only anomalies that had at one time been accepted across all fields of supernatural study, including ufology, cryptozoology, and the paranormal.
I remember when the rods came out, and they were fascinating. Holy cow.
on Art Bell quite a few times.
Yeah, they look so neat, but yeah, they ended up having a really mundane explanation. But
Yeah.
I mean, regardless, it was cool at the time, and it's even cooler that we did figure out exactly what it was. So
Yeah.
Which is
And
part of why we're here.
yeah,
Yeah. We see them occasionally. I'm a member of many groups on Facebook that help debunk photos, and they pop up very regularly. And there is still the one or two people on these groups that are all gung-ho about, oh, you've got a rod. This is amazing. It's a cryptid. Or it's an alien artifact. And oh, Lord Almighty. But I thought it was important to put it up here because it came and went within our lifetime, really. Something that came about that everyone thought was supernatural, and then we figured it out and it kind of pooped out, but it also spanned all the different fields. It's very rare that something like that happens.
back in the day, it was huge. I mean, and there was a really cool documentary, and like Enzo said, Art Bell, they talked about it quite a few times. There was a really
That's where I learned about it.
Yeah, there was a really cool documentary on it too, and I can't remember if it was just called Rods. It may have actually been the name of it. But yeah, I still can see in my mind. There's like a photo, and it's off of somebody's back patio, and you can see this little rod go by. But yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty interesting. It's fun. It's a fun throwback to pretty much when we got started, or when I got started. Really digging into stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, with all the cameras, if everybody's Ring cameras right now, I mean, you can't. I don't know how many of those I've seen from Ring cameras. It's like, yeah, I can like almost see the legs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
funny.
then you start seeing legs, then it becomes like a fairy picture or something like that.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they get like those big mayflies that have the really long legs and the wide wings.
Well, they're still creepy because they're bugs.
And we do. I know we talked at the very beginning that we were going to jump into personal photos that we've taken. We do have a couple left from last time that we would like to go over before we move on. So the first few are not going to be ours, but we'll talk about them a little bit. Are we ready to move on with those?
Yeah,
You good?
let's do
hit
it. Because the next one's creepier than heck.
Oh yeah,
Ah,
right.
Yeah. So this is the famous tree witch. I don't know. We might have to move this one over into the boogeyman category when we do our boogeyman show because she is part that. So this photo, actually two photos here, were taken in a rural town in Mexico. I cannot pronounce it. Sorry. The local village claims to have a witch who lives in the nearby woods. A man traveling through took these photos you see here after hearing movement above him. Apparently, he just turned and started taking photos, and this is what he caught. Creepy.
yeah, that's very creepy.
Ian
Sloth
said
with
it's
the
a
blonde
sloth
wig.
with a blonde wig. That's great.
Perhaps.
I mean,
Highlights
it's kind
it.
of sloth shaped. I mean,
It kind of is, yeah.
Yeah, the witch is very much the boogeyman for this small town. You find this a lot, especially in the southern regions. They have these almost skinwalker or witch type entities that supposedly live outside of these rural villages. They're kind of used as a boogeyman to, scare their children. Don't go out after night. But sometimes you find a little bit of evidence there might be a little bit something more to the legends.
I'd stay home too if I saw that up in a tree.
No joke. That's
Yeah.
a pretty good. Yeah,
I might wet myself. I don't know.
that's a pretty good incentive to stay inside after dark. Definitely. Ooh.
Yeah, gross. Okay, so this one came out back in the early 2000s. It's one of the most famous ones there are. There isn't a whole lot of a backstory on it. It was 3 kids at a birthday party, and they were standing up to look over the fence, and their mother took this, or one of the mothers took a shot because they thought it was cute to look at them from behind. And this is what they caught in the photo.
Yeah, that's freaky. It's almost
Yeah.
like a mannequin head or something, but the eyes are with maybe some type of light in the eyes.
I've got no idea.
Or a mask, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's weird.
But, if something, even a person standing in a mask right there, do you really think those kids would be
they
standing
would
up there like
freak.
that?
Inches away. Yeah.
Yeah, they would freak. That's true.
They would, yeah.
And if you look at it, I mean, the pixelation, it doesn't look like it's been added. I'm not a
It-
photography.
It almost looks like, an exhale breath, but it's not cold, obviously, because they're
Yeah.
wearing shorts.
Yeah. Interesting one.
Yep.
Those are fun.
And it looks like it was kind of like during the middle of the day, the shadow of the kids on whatever it is they're standing on is like almost straight down. So, this was something that happened during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Or maybe it's a super bright moon or something. But that glow stick that the one kid on the left, that's pretty bright. So I'm not sure if it's. I mean, it certainly looks like it's in the day.
I
Or
don't
the
know.
porch
It's
light
very
or
strange.
something.
Maybe it's a light that's a little higher.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's not too dark though, because if you look behind where that mask or that face is, back in there, you can see what looks like light coming through trees too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Or
looks
is that
like it's
something
like
else?
woods. Yeah, who knows? It weirds me out.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
It's creepy.
Okay, so I ran onto this one and I almost bypassed it because without reading the description or what was going on, I assumed it was going to be your general Bigfoot type of situation. A photo of a supposed Bigfoot until I decided, well, I'm going to read it. It's a little weird that it's taken at night. So this was actually, and we could move this to the Kentucky show in a couple weeks. This
Oh,
was
of course it's in
taken
Kentucky.
by a pair of EMTs in central Kentucky. They had actually gone out on a run in a very rural area and had left the home without an emergency to take with them. And they got lost on the back roads and they came down to this area and it happened to be a dead end road. So they were actually doing, a 3-point turn. They were doing the, shuffle in and back out, shuffle in and back out. And as they shuffled forward once, their headlights hit this. So the interesting thing is you can see that its eyes are glowing, but they also said it was absolutely see-through. And it's really hard to tell here. But if you pull up the original picture, and if I think of it, I'll try to throw it up on our Facebook page. It is see-through. You can see the tree through it that's behind it.
Interesting.
Wow. Here it kind of looks like Mothman.
A little bit, yeah.
A little.
It's Mothman.
Yeah. But the EMT guys were like, what the heck is that? They saw that it was kind of moving a little bit, and one of them thought to take a photo. They were like, this is really weird, until it kind of started walking towards them, and then they got the heck out of Dodge, as they would say.
So it actually moved towards them. It wasn't just a
It moved
static.
towards them. Yeah.
Because I was like,
But it
maybe
was
it was
see-through.
like a smudge on something, but not if it's moving. Is that like what is that, an electrical box or something that the red lights are shining off of to the side?
I'm not sure.
Something like that, or a phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Some
Confused
type of
by the whole
utility
picture.
box.
Is that like a road in front of it
Looks
on the
like
bottom,
Yeah.
or is it
Looks
like a
like me.
guardrail? Or
I believe it's a little dirt path where, 2 tires could go. They said it was
Right.
very, very rural, and their road that they were on kind of just abruptly ended. And they knew they were headed off in the wrong direction, so they were trying to do that 3-point turn to get themselves shimmied back around on what little bit of road they had, and then their headlights hit this.
I think it's a mailbox
Could be.
It moved.
built
It
into.
might be.
Yeah, kind
You
of
know
looks
what?
like
It
a-
makes
I think you're
sense.
right, honestly, because you know how you have to like build them into brick or whatever so the kids don't come through and kill it with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
might have those little round reflectors that you put on there, so you see
Yeah.
stuff like that at night.
And like
Mm,
right
Lord.
here, that kind of looks like the mailbox.
Yeah.
That makes sense. If it was a dead-end road and then there was just a little tiny road that went off of
Yeah.
that, I would assume that would be someone's driveway.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It
That's
makes
kind of
me
what it
think-
looks like.
It makes me think on The Simpsons. Do you guys, or The Simpsons, when Mr. Burns is out running through the fields going, "We bring you love." When I don't remember what was wrong with him, but everybody thought he was a spook. Ginger said it looks like a truck tailgate. Kind of, yeah.
Maybe. But it kind of looks like a wall with a post. And then
It does,
mailbox
yeah.
in the middle of it.
And you know what? Actually, that if that's somebody's driveway, that could be like, where a gate kind of is,
Yeah.
and it could have the mailbox there, and then there may be
Yeah.
another one on the other side over here. And that would probably be reflectors, like you said, Enzo. Interesting.
Mhm.
Fun. Now you guys get to see what we do when we go through pictures on our
I know, as we dissect the picture.
Whoops, wrong way. This one's
All
creepy.
right. It is. And frankly, we could do a whole show just on baby cam ghosts. They're everywhere.
The little
So
girl in
I-
front's creepier than the one in the back.
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
because she's staring deadpan at the camera. That's never good. That's what you want to wake up to in the middle of the night.
Oh.
Hello, mother.
Yeah.
No.
So the story behind this is very simple. So parents woke up because they could hear their daughter crying through the little baby cam that they had left set up in their daughter's room. Looked at the camera, and this is what they saw. And I blew up what's circled there and put it over to the right, or to the left, excuse me. Nobody else in the house, just the parents and this little girl. She was an only child. Creepy.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
no clues.
Yeah. And this is absolutely the story. I don't know how many I found that were baby cam photos. Creepy stuff leaning over cribs, secondary babies in with their baby, all sorts of.
I'm looking at this and I'm almost wondering, that almost looks like the back of a chair. You know what I mean? Like a wingback chair right there, but I don't know what that would be.
I have no idea.
I don't know. That's freaky.
I don't know
That's
either.
freaky enough. I would, yeah.
I mean, obviously, well, to me at least, you can see like someone's left arm, the bend at the elbow,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
maybe
The
wearing a
elbow.
dark hat, looking down at the floor. It's
Or
I see
hair.
it.
It looks like hair to me, but
Hmm.
Yeah, it could be hair.
I'm sure it is. I would assume that the parents would know if there was a piece of furniture
Yeah,
sitting
they
there.
would. They would.
So, debunking wise, I can't really debunk it, having not
no,
seen
not
the room.
having not been to the room or seen pictures of the room.
And that's
in the
what's hard
daylight.
about this, to come as a third party and not have all the information. But we'll see some other photos that we have actually taken or investigated, and how we went about determining what we thought they were,
Mm-hmm.
which are kind of fun.
All right, last one. I thought this one was crazy, so I did have to include it. I found this, I believe, on a Reddit page. I couldn't find the original owner of it, but it did have its original story still attached to it. It had just kind of floated around the internet. I backtracked it as far as I could find, but the story remained the same all the way through, so I'm going to assume it was the original story with the photos. This was taken by, it said Uncle So-and-so, the old homestead was burning down, and all he could do was take a couple of photos and watch it burn, because they were out in the middle of nowhere with no way to get a fire department out to them. And he was just taking some really quick photos while he was watching it burn, and then later on when he got the photos back, he saw what would have been his mother, the uncle's mother, so grandma or great-grandma. And
Yeah,
this
it looks like a
little
woman.
window that you're looking through, he said, had been the kitchen, and that was her favorite room, and she would sit there in her wheelchair in her older age and watch out the big bay window there in her kitchen, because she could see the birds and stuff outside.
I was about to say, it seems like she's kind of low in that window to be
Yeah.
standing
Yeah.
there, but
In fact, if you
sitting
look
down.
below her, you can see what looks like a wheel.
Yeah.
It's going to look like
Yeah.
a wheel.
Interesting.
I just
That
thought
one's
it was
pretty cool.
super
Yeah, that
interesting.
one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And did
I
he
like the
did he
fact-
see it at the time? Did he see it later?
He saw it later after they got the film developed. I'm guessing because they said developed, I'm guessing it was probably at least 90s,
Yeah,
if not earlier.
probably. And there obviously isn't any glass in that window, so it's not a reflection.
No. Kind of cool, though.
Yeah, Ginger said that too. She could be sitting in a wheelchair. That's what it looks like. Yeah, I like that one. That one's cool. Because you can see, yeah, there's her arm and, well, both arms. It looks like
They're
she's
kinda
got her hands
crossing, kind of
clasped.
like
Mhm.
Yeah, there's her head. Yep, pretty cool. I like that one. Oh, here we go. Now we're moving into
Lord.
our photos. Do you want to talk about this?
Yeah. Sure. So, back in the late 90s into the 2000s, I was a tour guide at the Brown Mansion in Coffeyville, Kansas. It's a very old estate, turn of the century mansion, full of all of its original furniture. It's a very unique place, and it's also extraordinarily haunted. And I always like to tell people, like, it's haunted, but it's a family haunting. I never really had any trouble in there. It's just really the most homiest haunting I've ever been involved with. And I count myself lucky that I got to work there as long as I did and kind of get to know the Brown family. The room that this is in, this is actually at my wedding. I was married there. We were up in the guest bedroom, which actually became Violet's room later on. Violet was the daughter of the original builder of the home, and she was the one that took care of the home clear until the 60s when she was moved to a care facility, and the home was given to the Coffeyville Historical Society to take care of. So this room was Violet's room in her older years, and this is my cousin getting ready in front of the big vanity mirror there, and we were just kind of taking photos of everybody and shots of the room like you do at weddings. And later on, when we got the film back, we found Violet in the mirror. I don't know if you can see
Yep,
her.
I can see it.
Yeah. The fantastic thing is that she was known for her fancy hats, and she's actually wearing one.
Yeah, you can see it coming off because here's her face, and then you
Yeah.
can kind of see it coming off the top of her head. That's cool.
Yeah. The mansion has, I don't know how much going on in it. It's one of the most extraordinary places I've ever investigated and gotten to be a part of. It's an amazing place.
Yeah, it is. It's a very cool place.
Is that another like bureau with a mirror on it, just below where her face is? I guess.
Yeah, it's across the room on the other side.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mirrors and mirrors get weird.
they do.
they do.
That is very true.
Okay, so this is that same day, out on the verandas in front of the mansion. This area is very well known for this. We see faces in the windows of the mansion all the time, multiple ones. You see a man in a hat, which we've always assumed is Mr. Brown. We see a small boy, which we assumed is Donald, who was Violet's younger brother. Mrs. Brown often shows up in them, and I think this is probably maybe the only one we have here today. There might be an extra one, but I have dozens of photos from that day where you can see all the Browns' faces in the windows. And kind of funnily enough, we've had Pin Paranormal on here before, Ashley and Craig.
Yeah.
Ashley and Craig just about a month ago sent me a slew of pictures they have from the mansion. And they were looking in the library, which is what is through these windows. The library is through those windows that we're looking at right now. And they had photos they'd taken inside the library looking through those windows, and they found faces in them, and they were like, tell us we're not matrixing. Tell us this isn't pareidolia. What are these faces that we're looking at? And I was like, yeah, there's Mr. Brown and Mrs. Brown and Donald. And I was like, you're just getting to see them from the other side.
Yeah. And that lends more credence to these, because it would be easy to say it's a reflection, but you see these faces in different poses and from different sides and from different people with different cameras. It's a continuous thing. It's not just a one-off.
Yeah. You see them down in the green room doors, which is the French doors you see there at the side. They're seen all over the place. And you only see them when there's something big going on in the mansion. It's never when there's just I've noticed, like, when I was in charge of the weddings, and the big get-togethers that were there, I kind of led those. And if there was stuff going on that the Browns wouldn't have been happy about, like a lot of drinking or people they just generally would not have liked in their home, they vamoose. You don't see anything in the windows. There's no activity. There's nothing going on. And I think it's because they're just retreating. Like, we're going to wait until this is the heck out of our home. But if they're really if it's a nice party and people are enjoying themselves and there's a lot of family happening, they come out all over in the pictures. There's booklets and booklets and booklets of pictures of faces and things like that happening in the background that get sent to the mansion after these big to-dos. They're like, look what we caught.
And these windows, something else to point out, these windows face the south, and that south is nothing but a big lawn. And it used to have terraces. Well, it still has the terraces, but it used to have a big garden down below in the terraces, and that's all just open right now.
Yeah.
So there's not, you're not going to have huge trees that it's reflecting through or anything like that.
That's right.
So it's pretty cool. I know it's easy to call it pareidolia, but not always. I guess we did have another one.
Yeah. Here in this one, you can see Mr. Brown really well in the shades of the curtain. You can see his hat.
Okay.
Above the lamp, you see the shoulder that goes up into the wide-brimmed hat.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's the hat.
Yeah. And now, if you look into the middle window, down at the very bottom, you can see Donald peeking up over the top.
Oh, yeah.
The great thing about this is that there's actually a gigantic library table butted right up against that window. There's no place for a kid to stand on the other side of that. That table is so heavy that in all the years that I worked there for about 8 years, we never moved that table because it was so flippin' heavy. It took so many people to get it moved out that we never did it. We would just kind of clean around it.
We should have added a picture of Donald. I didn't think about it. That would have been cool. Yeah. It does look like him, though. That's pretty neat.
It does look like a child.
Yeah, for sure. Especially a little boy peeking over, like...
With his hair cut straight across, yeah.
Good old bowl cuts. Okay, so this particular picture this was the year that we all got together. We got together in June as a team, so this is just a few months in. And we would go out to one cemetery and basically practice as a team and get to know how everybody's investigating styles were and things like that. And in this particular cemetery, there is a little ghost, and his name is Carl, and we know where his burial is, where his grave is and everything. And it wasn't too far. It was like, I think we're one over from where he's at in this picture. But Jess was walking. I took these pictures. Jess was walking in front of me, and I was telling her that Carl was right beside her, and she was like, you mean right in here? And I was like, yeah. So she continues to walk, and I took a picture, and then I watched an orb go off to the side. I didn't see the orb next to her hand at the time, which is about the right height for the age of the child.
Mm-hmm.
But I did see the one that's over here, and this grave is actually, it would have been off to Jess's right, so it would have been west of her. Did see that one out there and shot that picture, and it showed up in the photo, which is really cool.
I'm looking at the car. Is that the same night you set the alarm off and we all jumped?
I think it is.
We Scooby-Doo?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
I'm
because that
pretty
was
sure
my
I cleared
car.
2 or 3 feet. Yeah.
In fact, it was probably a few minutes after this because it looks
Yeah.
like we're headed to the car, and that would have been to change batteries. That's
Yeah.
funny.
We were
I
on the
do-
road just across from the road from where Carl is.
We
Or-
were,
or
yeah,
Neil.
we were one road to the west of where he is, and all of our stuff was in the trunk, so I went to hit the trunk button on my key fob, and I accidentally set the alarm off, and it was super quiet. We were all whispering, being quiet, and then all of a sudden, honk, 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 and everybody was like, "Wow!"
Good times. Good times.
Bam!
There was a
Right,
lot of
and you hear me
cussing.
going, "Shit, so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry."
That was a hilarious night. I do want to say before we move on from this photo, our team aren't really big on the orb.
No,
Issue.
we're not. No.
We're going to talk about orbs here a little bit later on. I pulled up some photos with supposed orbs in it, and we're going to debate it a little bit. But I just wanted to put forth now, I think this is the only photo we ever show with an orb in it.
It is, yeah.
And I want to say that, like Pam said, not the one with me in the photo, but the other one, she saw with her own eyes before she took the photo.
I did.
So that's one of the things that we look into when we're looking at photos with orbs. And the one with me in it, I want to put forth, we have several pictures of this shot before and after, and this is the only time it shows up in it. We were outdoors up on a hill. It was a little windy. I would guess that if it was going to be a dust type of situation, we would have seen way more than just the one.
We would have seen tons.
And we would have seen like a streak.
Yeah.
Right.
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't just
Going
be. Yeah.
We have some really strict criteria, especially when we're looking at orbs. They really need to have their own light source. It needs to be in conditions where we know there wasn't a whole bunch of moisture or a whole bunch of dust. And there needs to have some kind of a story to it why it would have been there. And this one was a fantastic one because I could kind of feel Carl moving around with us. I kind of have that ability to kind of be a little sensitive to that. And I was like, I feel like he's right here with us. And Pam was like, he's right beside you.
Yeah.
And what you don't get to see in the picture, because she took the picture after I did it, I put my hand out and I said right about here.
Yeah.
And Pam said, yeah. And then she took the shot. And where my hand had been is right where you see the little ball of light. So.
Otherwise, we would probably have dismissed it.
We would have,
Yes.
for sure. Yeah, if it didn't have the story behind it. And you'll see there's like a round thing over here by her elbow. That is not an orb. That's one of the little veteran markers that was on that grave off to the side. Is what that is, and it got caught in the light. But this one I did see with my own eyes, so that one is a really interesting one to me anyway.
So easy to get dust and stuff like that. Actually, if she's still in the chat, Tony's in here. Last time we were at the Greg, I was showing off my El Cheapo night vision camera that I have, and it has an infrared illuminator on it.
Oh yeah.
Where I can turn it up pretty bright. And I was talking to her a little bit about how to use it and what it's good for, what it's not good for. And I was like, here, watch this. And I turned the thing all the way up, and you just see all this stuff flying through the air. And she's like, orbs. It's like, no.
Dust motes everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
if
they're
you
all
add enough
around
light
it.
to it like
And
that,
they'll reflect
especially with
light.
the dark background. Yeah.
Especially with the infrared stuff, you'll really see them.
Oh, this is one of my favorites.
Yeah. So if you look at this is one that we took at a anonymous investigation, and Jess was looking through. It was your pictures, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
It was.
She was looking through them, and then she messages us, and she's like, "You guys, freaking caught something crazy." So we see this, and we're like, "Holy crap! Look at that! It looks And it looks to us like the Scream
looks
mask.
demonic.
We call it Scream. Yeah, it looks demonic.
It looks like a Tim Burton character peeking out from behind that
Yeah,
chair.
there's the
Like
eyes,
a cartoon.
the nose,
Yeah.
the pointy chin. It almost looks witch-like. You can see the black hair on it, you know, and it was just so freaking creepy. And you know, we were just like all over this one, trying to figure it out. And another team member, Mike, he was like, I can go back there tomorrow when I'm in that town, and I'll go check it out and see what it is. And so he gets a hold of us immediately as soon as he sees it, and he's like, "You guys are not going to believe what this is." He's like, "I totally found it," and what it is. And once you know what it is, you can absolutely see it. It is a very large pot that is set in that corner that has flowers and leaves
Yeah,
on
it's like
it.
a giant vase.
Yes. And if you see the rounded edge of the chair here, that's what makes it look like it's peeking around, because it's that rolled edge and then it goes straight down into the chair. And that right there, it's a leaf. You know, that's
Yeah, and you can
drawn
see
on
the
pot.
stem of the flowers now, and the,
Yeah. You can see you can see it. I mean, once it's there.
it's kind of an ugly vase.
Man,
Yeah.
it made a perfect Scream mask, didn't it?
So,
It did.
yeah, a little backstory on this place. It is one of our anonymous places. It had a very large basement in it, and we have gotten so much activity in this basement.
Yeah.
This is where the story of, you may have heard it before. I've talked about it, I believe, on here before, and also on the Fringe. The first time I had gotten my Ovulus, the little machine that sits there and burps out words out of a dictionary. First time I used it in the basement of this place, I flicked it on and something laughed at me through it, which is not in its dictionary. Yeah, it also has one of our most famous EVPs in it. There is a utility closet in this basement with something living in it that does not like me, despises me. Every time I walk in there, things fall, stuff shifts, and Mike was in there one day running EVPs and wasn't really getting anything, and he asked me to leave to see if maybe he could get it to do something with me out of there. And I took 2 steps out, and Mike said, "Well, she's gone," and this thing
Screams.
screeched like a man on fire. It's one of the most amazing ones we've ever gotten.
It is.
We also caught, with our own eyes, unfortunately, we never could get it to pick up on a photo or on video, but something that crawls across the ceiling in a storage area down in the same basement.
Yeah.
That's freaky too.
Yeah. It's a very nutty place.
It is.
Yeah.
And this was a great place to check out intuition, or whatever you want to call it too, because they would send we did some tests, like we would send Jess through, and she would stop and determine where she was getting impressions of things. And I was off in a completely different part of the building, between like 2 different closed doors. And then she would come back, and then they would send me into this area where I'd never been before, and we hit the same areas with the impressions, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And
Still
it was
very early on.
Yeah.
This was still very early on in our, as a team.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really was.
All right, this is one of mine. So I actually took this photo long before we were even a team. My husband is a studio drummer, and he was in a number of bands down in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area. And there was about a 2-year period where him and his band were the openers for the big show that happened at the famous Cain's Ballroom. This is where this photo is taken at. The very black, dark shadow you see that looks like it's almost up against that wall in the background there, that is the right side of the stage at the Cain's Ballroom. There is a small lip up there where they put small speakers at to help supply sound to the entire room. There's no place for someone to stand. And later on, when I got my photos back, because I would often take photos of Mike's band for him, this shadow person showed up against that wall, and there's no place for them to stand. I also thought it was very interesting. I thought that maybe whoever this was probably once was a drummer, because
I see
He's
drumsticks
got
sticking out of the back
drumsticks.
pocket.
Right there. But
Yeah.
Jess is talking about the speakers that are up there. You can actually see one of them right there. You can
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
square edge of it. That's against the wall right there.
Yeah. Kane's Ballroom is actually very, very haunted. You can get up online and read into it a little bit. I think they even have it on their own page. The ladies' bathroom is extraordinarily haunted. And I was actually witness to that. You don't want to be in that bathroom by yourself because you can hear the stall doors opening and closing, even though you're looking right at them and they're not moving. It's
That's
a
weird.
very strange feeling to hear the sound but not see the movement.
That is wild. Yeah, that is a cool place. If you ever get a chance to be there, do it because it's worth the trip. And you'll probably get to see a really cool concert while you're there too, depending on when you go. Okay, so this one is an interesting one. And again, it's a 2012 one. So this is the same year that we came together as a team.
Yep.
What had happened, my aunt had passed away and she had been the one that kept all the family photos. And I'm not kidding you when I tell you they handed over a steamer trunk full of family photos. And so my cousins were like, hey, would you be able to scan these in? And I was like, yeah, I was working at the Historical Society at the time. And I was like, well, I'm sitting there. I can just, scan pictures and go on. So I did that. And then I sent the pictures to my cousin and he ran everything through facial recognition, just to see if it would easier way to name everybody to tell who was who. And he was like, hey, I just got this picture of Grandpa Rex and it pulled another face in it. And I was like, really? So he sends it to me. And so this is my and my cousin's, it's our dad's dad, Grandpa Rex. And if you look up here in the corner, you can see what appears to be a woman's face. We wouldn't have even noticed if it wouldn't have been for the facial recognition stuff that came through. But he was like, we were looking at it and I was like, I know if it's anybody, I know who it is. It's great grandma Trimble. And he was like, dude, you were so right. So we pulled this picture that looks a lot like her. She was actually a really nice woman and did smile a lot, but people were known not to smile in these old photos. And she was not smiling there. But it's kind of funny because I think they were if I remember right, they were on vacation in like Colorado or somewhere. So apparently she hitched along for the ride. It had been not too long after she had passed away that they had gone on that vacation. So it's like, I guess she just went with them. I don't know. We thought it was kind of cool though that it looked enough like her for us to be like, we know who that is.
Making sure everybody's behaved.
Yeah. I'm not sure she was the biggest fan of Grandpa Rex, so maybe she was keeping an eye on him. I don't know.
Ooh.
Better not step out of line, boy.
I could hear her say that too. That's funny. But yeah, that was kind of an interesting one that we always thought was fun. But again, is it pareidolia? Maybe. I don't know. But it's really cool when you think about the fact that a person never is truly gone as long as someone talks about them and remembers them. And
Right.
It's fun to look at these and say, that appears to be her. So we're still talking about her. So she's not truly gone yet, right?
Right.
Now, this one is from our team member, Mike, and he was at the Baker Hotel in Mineral Wells, Texas. And you can tell by the date it's from 2015. He had gone down there, and the pictures off to the left are of the same doorway, and they were taken one right after the other. And this particular place was well known. Baker Hotel was well known to be very haunted. And figures in this area were known to be seen quite a bit. And I wish he was here because he could tell you if he saw it at the time or not. I don't believe he did. I think it was after he took the photo that he realized that he had caught something. But it's
it's just weird.
Yeah, it does appear to be a humanoid figure with their hand out.
I always thought it was weird because he has a few more photos of this kind of happening. It has that halo effect around it.
Right.
Yeah, you can see it clear up into here. all the
And
way
he
around.
was taking it with a digital camera, wasn't he?
Yeah,
Mhm.
he did.
So I really think a lot of times you get that halo on the digital cameras because it's interference.
Could be.
Okay.
It's interesting how I wish I would have grabbed the other photos of this, because the one before it looks just like this. This was the middle picture. There was one taken before it that looked like this, and then this one, and then the next one was exactly the same. And if you look at them, there's not.
The whole picture looks distorted. I mean, if you look
Yeah,
at
it looks all warped.
from the top of the door frame to the
Yeah.
bottom of the door frame, the left side of the picture is like all skewed out towards the bottom versus
Yeah,
the
it's
top.
like it is. You're right.
Yeah, it's just a weird look.
Yeah.
It's
The interesting thing is, so this happens again in a couple other photos, but not the full photo. He has another photo that he took inside where you got this little dark, shadowy thing with this halo of haze around it, but it's only like in like one little side, one little side, as if it's something passing through that room.
That almost shimmers as it moves. Kind of gives
Yeah,
off.
Right.
that like
Yeah.
creates some kind of a weird anomaly around it as it moves. It was a strange one.
It is.
We looked at these photos forever and just
Yeah.
couldn't come up with anything.
yeah.
That might be one that we have to someday in the future. If we do some more, we'll have to grab the rest of them and show them all together.
Yeah.
That would be.
I
cool.
think it calls for a road trip one of these days.
Right. That would be fun. Do you want to talk about this one, Jess?
Sure. So we've actually, did we discuss this one on here or?
We may have. We've talked about it on one of the shows.
Yeah. So this was taken on, we did an investigation on a smaller rural town in Montgomery County where we're at. And we weren't getting a whole lot of activity inside the home. The home had been an old schoolhouse at one point, very cool looking,
Yeah, very
regardless. But I kept going back outside. It was very stuffy inside the house, and I just felt a little weird. There was a big, huge open property beside the house that just had trees in it, an open field. And then beyond that was a little road, and then the house that you see off in the distance was across the road. And I just felt kind of weird, and I thought, I'm just going to take a few photos and see what I get. I'm not fond of taking photos in the pitch black like this because, number one, I don't like to use my flash. That's how you get all sorts of fun anomalies that are completely camera, moisture, dirt related. But I decided to do it anyway, and I had our teammate Jennifer with me, and she was also taking photos too, and we started noticing that we would get these photos where we would get these weird, some of them, they look swirly, like someone was smoking. Sometimes they would look like a straight line wind, if you could, like put a face to straight line wind. And we would take several photos in a row in the same spot, and only one of them would have it. Or there's a set, and I need to use like our timestamps along with them. Jennifer was taking photos towards me, and I was taking pictures towards Jennifer, and we were catching them on the same spots together, and then our next photos would be clear. Like it was happening at the exact same time, and we never figured out what this is. I've seen before where dust will create this. If you've got your shutter speed on too slow and it's dark and you've got like your flash going and it's a little dusty or a little windy, it'll create these like almost smears through the photo or little
I've never
lines.
seen that many and that organized.
Yeah.
Organized. That's a good word for it because, it's strange.
It was not windy that night. It wasn't particularly dusty or anything. All of that was grass out there that we were walking through. It wasn't dirt. Jennifer and I just thought it was extraordinarily interesting with the fact that it felt really weird outside. And I'm a nighttime person. I don't get scared going out at night. I love to go out and watch the stars, and so it was just really odd for me to walk out. And it's a neighborhood. I mean, there's not a whole bunch of really close neighbors, but there's neighbors, as you can see. There's a house sitting right there. So not really any reason for me to feel unnerved. But I
And
did
that
that
area,
night.
that was to the south of the old schoolhouse, and that area used to be where the playground was when it was a
Mm.
schoolhouse. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty wild.
The family who lived there had a lot of concerns and things they said had been happening. It just happened to be one of those nights where we got absolutely nothing. It doesn't mean that something doesn't happen inside the house. And unfortunately, we never got an opportunity to go back again to
Yeah.
do another night. So
We did one of the stories that they had heard was that one of the teachers had died there, and we were able to debunk that for them, and find out that he did pass away, but he didn't pass away on the property. He passed away somewhere else in a boarding room, actually, that he stayed in. So, interesting place, though. It would be cool to go back.
yeah,
Oh, here's some more of those pictures. Yeah.
yeah.
And they were every direction that they turned in, they were getting these. It wasn't just like one direction. They were moving basically.
They're all in
Yeah.
different angles too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the streaks are all
Yeah.
like going
I kind of
almost
wish
up and
Ian
down.
was here.
Yeah.
He was
Which-
here. I don't know if he's still in the
he was-
chat or not.
I don't know. If Ian's here, or if you're listening, if you've got an idea what might cause this, and like a clear, like 3 or 4 clear pictures, and then suddenly this, and then
Almost
it
like
clears
a
up again.
windstorm in it,
Yeah, but no wind.
but no wind.
Just
yeah.
really strange. And I've never had that happen again. So
Actually, you can tell there's no wind because if you look at like this tree right here, see the
They're just
branches
hanging
and
down
stuff.
dead.
Yeah, they're not moving. They're in the same positions. So
Yeah.
Ian, we'd love to get your expertise on that if you could send some information our way. Okay, so this one is from the Bell Mansion. It was in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Oh, we're going to go back because Ian just jumped in. Lowish shutter speed and camera shake. Maybe so, yeah.
I don't know. I never changed my shutter speed. I took it on a digital camera. Maybe a shake, but that still doesn't explain how Jennifer was also getting it at the same time as we were shooting photos, because we were showing them to each other live. She was taking hers on her phone, and I had my little red digital camera, and we were sitting there comparing notes. So, I don't know. It most likely probably is something to do with the camera or something, but I don't know. It's just really weird.
It's an interesting one to look at for sure. So
It is.
Thank you for that, Ian. Okay, so Bell Mansion in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I went out to Indiana with Amok, which is another podcast that I'm on. And we met with producer Keith Age. He is they're producing a show called Bourbon Spirits, and they had asked us out. We thought it was to be part of the investigation, but they actually wanted to, or we thought we were going to be interviewing people, and they actually interviewed us, and we got to be part of the investigation. So it was really cool. This place, it was built between 1893 and 1895. The original owner was Robert Clark Bell, and after he died, his wife sold it to a businessman named William Noble in 1904, and Noble had it until 1926. And at that time, after he passed, it was spent the next 92 years being a funeral home. Very cool place. I'm not even sure it's open to the public now because it just sold again. But it's over 14,000 square feet, ginormous, so gorgeous inside. And like you see on here, there's some type on here. It was sold in 2020, was reopened as a special events center, and just within the last few months, it has sold yet again. Let's see here. But we were down in the basement after Scotty Rorick, who is a psychic. He was like, if you guys want to catch anything, you need to go to the basement. And we were like, okay. So it was me and Ken Rahmeller and Shaw Wooten. And we went down in the basement, and they were doing a little EVP session. And both of them, if you look at their arms, you can see the hair on their arms standing straight up in the air. They had something come over them at the time, and so we got this picture of it. It's kind of cool. But what I thought was interesting about all of this is I took this second picture with the chair in it, and we could see physical orbs moving around in this area. And they were just like little light anomalies that would just pop up and move around. And this isn't a pitch dark basement. Okay. There's no light sources from anywhere. And so I kind of zoomed in on this one that I caught right here. And you can see it's not round. So it's not like a dust mote or anything. And if you look, you can see a faint tail off of it right there, showing that it had motion to it as well. So it was pretty cool. That was a neat place.
Yeah.
But those were kind of fun just to throw in there. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Missouri State Pen. I've been there with Amok. Mike had been there before. We need to get everybody else. Yeah, Ian said it's a comet. It looks like a little baby comet, doesn't it?
They're so cute before they grow up.
Right?
Yeah.
Before they get all hateful and turn into meteors.
It's just a little meteor.
Just a little. So Missouri State Pen is in Jeff City, Missouri. It actually closed, I want to say, I can't remember the exact date that it was closed, but it's open to the public now, and they do nightly tours of the place. And it's so freaking amazing. This place is huge. I've never been in a place quite that big. There's different buildings that you can go into, and Solitaire is supposed to be one of the most active spots. And unfortunately, when we were there, it was closed to the public because they were tearing a building down behind it. So the state closed that one because it was too close to the construction area. So we didn't get to go in there. But when you walk down to the south of the very south end of the yard, that's where they had the electrocution chamber. And they did allow people to go in there to see it, still set up exactly like it was. And I don't get emotional at these things. I don't ever get an overwhelming feeling. I got overwhelmed in the electrocution chamber, and I didn't go in where the seats were. I was just out. There's like almost like mini grandstands. And I'll show you a picture of it, but it's like, hang on, let me get to the picture first. Okay. So there's, when you walk in, here's the two seats. I'm pointing over there like you can see it. There's actually two seats that are in there. So they did electrocute more than one person at a time on a lot
People at the same time.
Yeah, they
Wow.
sure did.
Isn't that a gas chamber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sure was. And you can see all the little, it almost looks like a little submarine, where they would shut them in and then spin the things to make it airtight. And then you can see the levers off over here that they would let go to let the chemicals into the room that would gas them. Let me see if I have a picture. Oh, I don't. Okay. Anyway, let me go back here so I don't show too much before I want to. So you've got that gas chamber, right? And then off to the side of it, there's like little mini grandstands. They're like 3 or 4 levels high where people could crowd in this little room and watch through these windows as these people were put to death. And I was out there when I got a little overwhelmed, and I was like, I got to get out of here, So I was sitting outside with the guard. He's an actual, he was an off-duty police officer that works as a guard during the ghost hunts. And so he sat out there with me while we were listening to everybody and what was going on. But the cool part about this was, if you look at the date, it was September 13th, 2024, which was a Friday the 13th, okay? And one of the ladies that was with us, her name's Angie, and she had the thought to look through and see if there was anybody that had been not electrocuted, but had been put to death on that same date. And there had been a man, and his name was Thomas Moore. So, and it actually ended up being a Friday the 13th when he was put to death as well. So here he is right here. He was 42 at the time. And his crime was that he was convicted of shooting his wife in May 5th, 1953, while she was in bed. And his stepdaughter was actually in bed with her. He walked in with a shotgun and shot her. And the stepdaughter freaked and ran, and it was crazy. And if you look, you'll see that he was pronounced dead at 12:09. They do the electrocutions at midnight. And when we looked at this guy, if you look at his forehead, you can see a divot, and it looks like maybe he got hit in the head with a hammer or something, And we were like, when we saw this, we're like, well, maybe he had frontal lobe damage, which is impulse control, which maybe that's why he did what he did, So this was our thought at the time. And then when we did a little bit more research, we found out more about it. But you can see it better here. You see the divot in his forehead, and you can see it on the side where it's divoted in.
Significant.
It is pretty good size. Yeah, it's like this big. It's a big one.
It's like kicked in the head by a horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you see down below, it says a 6-inch cut scar on forehead, making indentation under the scar. So, yeah. But what we found out was this guy had killed his wife, then turned the gun on himself, because I found the court records online and was reading through them. And he turned the gun on himself, tried to blow himself in the head, and didn't kill himself, but he took out a significant portion of his skull when he did it. So that was post murder that he did this. So, which is just crazy. Okay, so there we have this, and you'll see this little darkened window over here. Now where Angie's sitting, it's up on some of the grandstands. Okay, so she's on the highest level. There's and it's octagon shaped, as you can see in the picture here. So there's like a window here, and then behind this door is where Angie's sitting, where you'd be able to see her. There's this window here that you could see where the guards could look in to watch to see what they were doing. But this one actually went to a little room that could only be accessed from the outside, and that's where they kept all the chemicals and things that they would use to do the executions with. So it wasn't anything that was open. There was nobody in it or anything like that. But if you look up here, you can kind of see a form in the window. And so we were back at the Airbnb, and one of the guys that took this picture was like, hey, can you guys look at this and tell us what you think? So we get to looking at it, and we realize it's a human form, obviously, but the face looks really strange, and the body looks strange. And what we got to wondering is if it wasn't, because he was executed the same night on Friday the 13th, and it looks to us like, and we did confirm they did mask them at the time, so when they took them out there, and he would have been shackled and everything, and it kind of looks like he has not body armor, but he has something over him,
like a straight jacket, or
it looks very straight jacketish. Yeah. And so we don't know if that's what it is, but I tell you what, when we talk about trying to debunk things, we sat at the Airbnb, and there was like 5 of us, and we thought through everything. We spent 5 hours on this, at least, trying to debunk it that night, and we were not able to. Based on all the other photos that we had, all the information that we had, we were not able to. But we thought it was interesting how it did make us think of him, when we saw the profile, if we took into consideration that they would have been masked. And it even, if you look at it, almost even looks like you can see where a mask went around the head right here. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
The mask, I assume, was just a hood they put over their whole head, right?
Well, it almost looks like it's something that they slipped on, that went over their face.
Usually they would put on, I don't know what they were made of, usually leather, I think, if I remember correctly. They went up over the bridge of their nose and then strapped the back. It kept them from spitting and biting, and it kind of muzzled them a little bit. So when they screamed, it wasn't so horrible. And there was some holes cut in so they could breathe. but that's usually what they were masked with. I'm sure it probably kept, like vomit and stuff from happening, because you lose everything.
Yeah, that's true.
When you get electrocuted. You vomit and your nose runs and you urinate and defecate and...
Well, that's why
And it
there's a
wasn't
little
pretty. And you know
hole
what
fit
was...
in the seat.
Yes, and he would have been, locked down into the seat. They had the... If you look back at the photo here, you can see they had the straps and things where they, you can see where they don't have everything there anymore, but you can see where the leather went through the straps to strap them in. But they did, you can see the backs of that chair at least where they would have been hooked down.
Yeah, I believe they used cyanide, didn't they?
Yes, I think
They'd
it was.
foam at the mouth, and
Yeah, it would have been not pretty at all. And what was wild was, so I was outside on a bench talking to the police officer, and right at midnight, it was Shauna actually, and they had read up to see exactly how things were done at the time. And one of the tour guides told them, the procedure of what they would do. So right at midnight when they would have done it, she pounded really loud on the side of that and did the countdown thing. And the guard that was sitting with me was like, holy crap, that sounds so authentic of what she just did there. So, and it was interesting because that was when the pictures were taken, was about that time. So, yeah, I don't know. That's one of the more interesting ones that we have taken, that I've been involved with. Pretty wild place. If you ever have an opportunity to go, you need to, because we got some really cool photos from that night. But was it Thomas More? I don't know, but the dude was definitely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, so could have been. And this is also from that night in cell block A. And you can see how big this place is. See the cross paths through the top. There was like 3 different ones that you could cross, and there was just rows and rows and rows of cells, and 3 levels high of cells. And then where this light is up here is where solitaire was, where they put you in the hole. And I did not go down in there, but a lot of the others did. And there was just basically cement rooms or tiled rooms, I think. And there was like a drain in the middle of the floor. But back when this place was originally started, that was not in there. They would throw people in the hole and just leave them in there and let them die, and then not take them out and throw more people down in there. So there was, it was awful. And at one point the governor was like, yeah, you can't do this anymore. You cannot do this. So they made them completely clean it out and overhaul it. And that's when they tiled it and put a drain in the floor. So, there would be showers and things down in there. And if somebody died, they took them out at that point. But it was not a good place to be. Basically, if you knew you went down there, you weren't coming out. But
it's grotesque.
It was awful. The stories of that place are just insane. But they would bring you into this cell block A, and then you can see all the chairs, the folding chairs. You sit down here, and they would tell you the stories and everything. And I want to say Ken took this picture, if I remember correctly. He had come in there later, and when he took that picture, somebody showed up in the middle of it. Just a little humanoid figure.
It's not a shadow from something.
Nope. There's just a row of chairs that goes clear up in here. And there's they had a red light that was shining in that place. But yeah, it was weird.
They did not get those chairs lined up very good.
They did not.
That offends the janitor in me. I mean, I used to set up chairs for events and stuff, and that just bugs me.
Your janitor OCD is acting up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just want to go straighten them up because it's bad.
Ian said that's medieval. Yeah, you're right. It was awful.
It basically was an abattoir.
Yeah, it was absolutely horrible how they treated these people. Oh, Julie said she tried to go there with a small group, but they refused because she's disabled. That sucks.
Eh, it is sucky.
Yeah, that sucks.
There's stairs.
There are stairs, but at the time I was on crutches and I couldn't go everywhere, but I could go. There were places I could go. This was one of them. I just couldn't go up into the catwalks and stuff
I
onto
see.
the upper floors. But there was still plenty that I was able to do.
I'm just wondering. I have a bad. I have a bad relationship with stairs.
Oh, yeah. No, you'd be fine. There's plenty of places to go without stairs, especially
Okay.
if solitaire is open. I want to go back just to go there. And I will tell you this, this is one of the places after I left, I was like, I will never go to another prison again. I will never go to another anywhere like that again because I had never got the emotions that I had at that place. And I don't know if it was just because of that place, just because of the stories we were hearing and everything, but it was like almost a crushing feeling when we were down at the gas chambers.
Weird.
Yeah, it was weird, but very cool place. And then um, so these were taken with a 35 millimeter camera back in the day. Um, and this is it is a house here in town. It's no longer, well, it is this color again, I think. It was pink
Yeah.
after this. They were getting ready to paint it pink when this picture was taken.
Dang.
But my friend Janie owned this home, and I helped her remodel the inside. This is before I lost my leg, and I lost my leg in I had my accident in 1994, so that tells you how long ago this was. I hadn't had any of that happen yet. But Janie had called and she was like, "Hey, can you bring your camera and come up and take pictures before they start painting?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I came up and I jumped out of my car and I took 3 pictures in succession. And um, the picture up here is the first one. And the reason I know it's the first one is if you look, it didn't line up quite correctly. And so part of the next picture is on the cutoff of that one. So you can see the hood of my white car I think I had a Monte Carlo at the time. So that's the hood of the car right there. And then, so I took that one, I took this one, and then I took this picture of Janie going out through her front yard. And I had these pictures for a really long time and never really noticed anything. But I did notice down here in the corner, there's this little white, right? And it wasn't cigarette smoke or anything. It was just a really odd thing to show up in the picture. And it always, we'd look through them and we'd see that. And we were like, yeah, we don't know what that is. Kind of interesting. And one of my friends was looking through these and he was like, "There's a face in that window." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And so we get to looking and I'll show you some close-ups of these. And there is a face in this window right here. And this picture was taken first and there was nothing showing there. But you could see, there was that shine right there, but there wasn't a face. Um, and what's interesting is the way that he's looking right here is where, and I think Ginger's probably, she was in the chat. I don't know if she still is or not, but she was very familiar with this house too and this story. This is the front stairs that Janie had just stepped down and had just walked through her yard. So this face is looking right where Janie was stepping off the porch. And I added in, I knew who the gentleman was that had built the house. And his name was Captain Stone. He was a captain in the Army. And that's him surrounded by his children and his wife. But that was in one of the old Caney books. So I pulled it out to see because we were like, that looks like some of the pictures of him that we've seen before. So we pulled it out. And here's actually a close-up of it. You can see the little smoky thing in the corner. No clue what it is. I don't know if it's anything. It just could be an anomaly. I don't know. But it was interesting enough for us to take some double looks at this picture. So it's kind of cool. So if for no other reason, I'm glad it's there for that. But okay, so there's the original one where you could just see that right there. And you could see a face right here, right? So I blew up the picture of Captain Stone beside it too. And Janie had always felt presence in that house. I had too when I was there. We had a lot of wild things happen in that home. And in fact, we've all investigated this pretty early on as a team. And Janie had passed by that time and had passed away in the house, actually. And Jess and I were sitting in the kitchen at the table, and we had said, can you finish shaving a haircut? And so I did that, dun, 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 dun. And we're waiting on to hear 2 knocks, and we hear a woman's voice very plainly between us say yes. And I was like, oh my God, did you hear that? And just like, yeah, I heard that. So we're talking back and forth going, holy crap, we can't believe we heard this out loud. And then we talked right over her. So when you hear the recording, you can hear a voice in the background, and we're just yammering right over top of it. Pretty wild.
I've actually got the video for what came after that over here on my computer.
Do you?
Yeah. I actually pulled up the old YouTube page. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because we did get some more behind that, didn't we?
Yeah.
So, Ian said it could be a reflection off the shiny part of the vehicle. Yeah, you're probably right.
Vehicle.
The vehicle, which is, I mean, that's cool if that's what it is. At least it got us to look at it more than once, and we saw the face later on.
Yeah, that would be my first guess too, is some kind of glare off of something, but
the face is cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can see his mustache and his nose and his eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I see a mustache. Actually kind of looks like Albert Einstein there.
Oh, yeah, if you look at the white hair. Looks a lot like Albert Weinstein.
Weinstein?
Albert Einstein. If you, yeah, that's funny. Now I'll never unsee that. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, no problem. Glad to help.
I guess if you put a white wig on him, he would look a lot like Albert Einstein, too. Yeah, there's Ginger. Many strange sights and sounds, plus the creepy little room upstairs at the end of the hall. Yes. Holy cow. There's a really freaky room upstairs that I got my very first EVP I ever caught in that room. And I have it on a cassette tape. And I still have the
you
tape.
Just dated yourself.
I did, big time. Did you find it, Mark?
Yeah, I've got it ready to play.
Okay. Oh, hang on. I got to stop sharing it. There we go.
There's something right behind me that tapped. Did you hear it? Yeah.
It's hard to hear there, but right after that click, it says it's just me.
There's something right behind me that tapped. Did you hear it? Yeah.
It's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the cool part about that is the fact of Janie always said, if she would call it, she would say, hey, it's just me. That was her password on everything, was just me. And in fact, when she passed away, I had written a poem for her, and it was in her funeral booklet, and it was titled Just Me. It's just me. So we thought that was really cool when it came through, and it sounded like her whispering, it's just me. So she was pretty awesome. Pretty cool. Okay, let me go back to sharing the screen here. All right. So yeah, this is one of those things that really got me going, because this is from the early 90s. This is when this house mostly is what got me really actually investigating. This is one of the first places that I actually actively investigated, and kind of started me on the whole road. I know you guys have heard the story from my brother that we started hunting ghosts when he was like 14 and I was like 10.
Yeah.
But
well, it's one of the first places we investigated together.
It was, yeah. Sure was. Because Janie had passed away and her daughter Jamie owned it. And Jamie had us come in to investigate. And I think we were there twice, weren't we?
Yes, we were
At
there
least,
twice.
or maybe 3
And
times.
it was also right down the street from where we first met as a group.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
A
just
block away.
yeah, pretty cool. All right, Jess, you want to talk about this one? You're muted.
My bad. All right. I had it muted because my allergies have been killing me today, and I keep like almost sneezing, and I don't want to like blow you guys away.
Woohoo!
So this is one that happened just a couple of years ago. In fact, Enzo, this was one of the first ones that he did with us. We got a lot of very interesting stuff this night. Not a whole lot on film. However, I did catch one little thing, and it may be nothing at all, but I think there's a little bit something to it. It was part of a little college, and this was like the theater department. And we were in the auditorium part of it, and I was near the stage looking back into the audience area and was just taking lots of photos to see what I could get, kind of see how the lights were going to react, because there was a lot of light coming down from up above in the mezzanine where, you know, all the lights and stuff are at. And I took several right in a row, just one right after the other. And in one of these, I got what's on the second photo. I put one of the other photos with it so you could kind of see the difference that I was getting. I was nearly taking them all straight on the exact same way, and then this one popped up here in the middle. Now, if you look up towards the top, you'll see the little smears happening, which I think was I probably moved a little bit as I was taking the photo and caught it before the shutter closed, or, you know, the equivalent for a phone, because this was all on my phone. However, interestingly enough, when this happened, I also got this flash of light down below. I was not using the flash on my camera, and it lit up the seat behind it.
It's kind of cool.
I don't know. It was a very active place, though. We got a lot of very interesting rod sessions that happened in there, and a lot of meter stuff. So
Yeah. Had a really cool Estes method happen.
mm-hmm.
That was your birthday, wasn't it, Enzo?
It
might have
was.
been.
Yes, that was. That's where we got him at the Mexican place.
Yep,
It
it was the
was?
night of
Oh,
yeah.
sombrero and the whipped cream.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that was a cool place.
I don't have that video available, but
Yeah, darn it.
we should get that.
The look on his face like, I'll never trust you guys again.
It was great.
I still don't.
I wouldn't. I mean, that's only smart.
I just thought it was funny. We sent Mark off to do our dirty work.
We did.
Mark went off. Mark made his excuse to go to the bathroom. Meanwhile, went and found the ladies that were working. And didn't you tell us, like, they were like, "What do you want us to do?" And you were like, "Everything."
Oh my God! I thought she was practically jumping up and down. I was like, "Oh!"
Yeah. It was
So
your
excited.
hazing. It was
It
his
was.
hazing into the group.
I felt
Congratulations.
hazy. It's
We made up for it, though. He got a big ass bottle of whiskey after that. So
Oh, he did.
Big old bottle of
Yes.
bourbon.
yeah.
Yes.
that makes everything better.
Okay,
You're not
so
wrong.
what we're looking at here is, there we go. Ooh, it's like a
That's
real
a real
cork.
cork.
Real one.
That's a joke.
This picture is in the Distrahan plantation in Distrahan, Louisiana. It's actually the closest plantation to New Orleans proper, if that gives you any kind of an idea of where it kind of sits at. I didn't include other photos of it because I knew we had so many. Just to let you know, this plantation is where the inside shots for Interview with the Vampire,
Yeah.
the shots of the young girl Kirsten Dunst, her scenes in bed when she gets the curly hair when she's, you know, ill and they turn her, were taken inside of this plantation. And the shots where Louis attacks the poodles because he can't stand to attack the woman out on the lawn during the party, that was all shot on the lawn of this plantation, just to give you an idea. It's really kind of cool. it was apparently this particular plantation was run by kind of a mean butthole captain, who was kind of, his way or the highway. And this is their dining area, and that happens to be the chair that the arrow is pointing at. And I was just kind of taking photos as I went through the plantation. And I took a shot towards the dining room just to get a general overall. And when I went back and looked that evening, I found out that I'm pretty sure the captain was still sitting in his seat. If you look closely, I would almost say orb, but it's actually sitting on the inside of the chair.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
If you look closely,
There's
you
light
can see
on
it.
the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had its own light source, too, because the only light source in this room is, of course, what you see in the farthest corner. The other side was dark.
That's cool.
And it's partly obscured by the chair.
Yeah.
So you can see it sticking out on the other side of that slat. And
Yeah,
it
Ian
looks-
says not sure any plantations were run by good people. It's very true.
Yeah.
However, this dude, I've heard from what the tour guides and stuff were telling us, was very nasty.
Yeah. One vile dude.
Not a good dude.
That's a cool picture. Fun.
Yeah. This one I took at the Limp Mansion in St. Louis, Missouri. I wish Ken was on here. He could probably tell us a little bit more about this. I took this several years ago, and I actually just picked out one. I found these all over this house. Not much anything else, but these little I call them light bars, would kind of show up here and there. It was not my phone or my camera because it didn't show up in the same place in every photo, and it didn't show up in every photo. But I chose one here where I thought you could see it really well up against the wood and then against the paint. But these pop up everywhere inside the Limp Mansion. It's nutty. You can see them during the day.
Frauds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could say that it was bugs or something. However, I found them all over the place. And the great thing about this was the way the Limp runs, it's an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Kind of. And they fill up all the rooms every night. They give you a little tour and a background, and they give you dinner. And then the entire staff locks the house and walks away with you in it. And I got very lucky that night. The only other people that were there was a couple that was older who weren't really interested in investigating. They had just come for like an anniversary or something. And then the other group was a gaggle of girls who were there for a bachelorette party and had scared themselves so silly during the tour that they chose to hunker down in one room together. They didn't even separate out to their rooms, and they just stayed pinned in there. I happened to be there with my husband.
What were they so scared about? What scared them?
It's a gaggle of girls. They went there to scare themselves and did it before they even got to investigate. And
There's
like
some
I said,
pretty
they
good
don't.
ghost stories about the Limp Mansion, and a succession of the family members killed themselves. And
in the house.
In that house.
Heard a few
in
of
the
those
house.
tales.
Yeah.
yeah, and one of them
Um,
actually killed himself, and then his pet, and then himself. I think, if I remember right.
Yeah, killed the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they were kind of pinned off together, and my husband and I actually had gone, and he knows me well enough. He was like, let's get back to the room, and I unpacked all my stuff, and he was like, I'm going to bed, have fun. So I got to investigate the Limp Mansion.
Goes down the hall.
Yep, all by myself. It was fantastic. Yay.
I bet it was. That'd be fun.
It really was.
It's a cool place.
Very cool place, very creepy. I did get the weird feels in a lot of the places there. So if you ever get the opportunity to even just stay there for the night, give it a shot. It's super fun and beautiful. A little loud. It's right by the highway, unfortunately. I was not able to run any
really?
EVP that night. Yeah,
They built the interstate just right beside it.
right there.
Isn't
It's
it
loud.
like an overpass kind of situation?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
very
you're up
close
on a
to it.
hill, so you're looking down over
Okay.
Okay.
what is basically an interstate highway. So
Yeah. That's a bummer.
I was on a totally different show, but I asked a question because we were talking about the Limp Mansion and the history of it and all that. And they talked about how they still do the dinners and all that stuff. And I, of course, being silly, asked, do they serve bread at the dinners? Because that, of course, would make it a limp biscuit.
Oh,
Oh,
I like it. That's good.
that was so terrible it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. It was very loud. I didn't sleep that night. And also because I was investigating for half the night. It was super fun. So this next photo here was taken at the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. I got lucky and got to do an investigation there. A little unfortunately, it was with a larger group, so I didn't get a whole lot of stuff. I did get a couple of really exciting photos. However, the one we're going to talk about right here, I have since kind of changed my mind about. I spent years really looking at it and wondering what the heck it was that I was looking at, and you can see what the arrow is pointing at. This is in the basement of the Crescent. This happens to be the room where the doctor did all of his dirty deeds. If you don't know the history of the Crescent, it was run by a maniac man who claimed himself to be a doctor who could cure cancer and other ailments. But basically, he was a snake oil salesman, and he would have people come to the Crescent as like a nurturing spa type situation where literally he was just feeding them crap. They all, of course, were getting more and more ill, and as they died, he would just chuck the bodies, or, people just died and died and died. And down here is where the area was where they kept the bodies until they could go. The cold storage is actually right behind you if you're facing where I'm facing here, taking this photo. It was right behind me. Anywho, if you look down below in the right-hand corner, you're going to see, I don't know what. Can you guys guess what that might be? It wasn't in any of the photos before or after.
Taken from the same angle. Nothing before and after.
Nothing before or after.
I would first say, okay, it's some kind of weird reflection of those pink lights that's in the background, but it would have that guy in the foreground between the two. His shadow would be blocking that. And it does look like there's like some other, like a pane of glass reflection on the top part of that, because you can see kind of the square corner shapes.
If I remember right, tell me if I'm wrong. If you're standing in front of where cold storage is, there was another room right to your side. Could it have been, was there a light shining out of that other room? But I don't know what would cause this. The little, like Enzo was
so
looks like glass.
Yeah. If you look at the floor around it, there's nothing that matches it. No, so the pictures taken before and after this just shows that plain floor. This pops in just once. I really thought it was something. I had no idea what. At one point, it was kind of akin to the pink sludge in the Ghostbusters movie.
Yeah.
To me. I did show it to Ashley and Craig when we were kind of sharing photos together, and she wondered if maybe it was someone's hand. I don't recall anybody standing right next to me that could have put their hand into the shot, but it's the closest thing I've ever come to trying to debunk it. It
looks kind of like a thumbnail.
Yeah. It's the closest I've ever come to debunking it. So I wanted to put this one in here because I'm wondering now, I'm thinking it was probably somebody's hand in and out of the picture really fast.
Like a gesture or something, and you just happen to catch it.
Yeah. Like maybe somebody was beside me, they gestured, and their hand was in the picture really fast.
So do you mean like this is the thumb right here?
Yeah.
Maybe.
With the palm up.
That's a big-ass hand.
Yeah. Well,
it's all stretched out. If it was something that you just did right as it snapped, maybe.
Gotta be closer to the camera. I can't look.
I don't think it's.
I
I
don't know
don't think
about
it's something shining on the floor.
Well, then look,
because-
you can see a shadow on the floor under it. So
I don't know.
Huh.
Now, once Ashley said that, I really think it's a hand. That's really what I started seeing. So, regardless, I thought I'd put it up here and let you all decide. I'm on the fence. However, I am kind of all about these photos because I caught a lot of things in photos at the Crescent that night. And in fact, in the same room. Do you have the next photo? Yeah, there we go. So, this is literally right to the left of them. All taken in the same series of shot. I was scanning across the room, taking several shots as I went. And this starts at the furthest left side of the room. And if you take a look up on top of that table area, there is a literal column of light
There it is.
that showed up in the middle of this. And it's not underneath the lamp.
No, it's off to the side.
Yeah. In the second photo, I blew it up for you and actually turned it black and white so you could see it a little bit better. The lighting down there was all done up in like purples and stuff because it was around Halloween time and they had, themed accordingly. So to take that tone down for you and let you see this. And it only showed up in the one photo.
And the creepy part of this, if you see this table right here, this was the autopsy table, and it's still there. And the because this is the work area now, and they kept their stuff on it and used it as a work table, which is kind of gross.
yeah, that's bleh.
Yeah, but if you look at that light right there, it's actually looks like it's in front of that little
Yeah.
globe right there.
That globe. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's very weird. It's the only time it showed up ever. So in
Interesting.
this roll of pictures. Just
That's
kind of
cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the famous cold storage for the bodies. This is the room that I was talking about that was directly behind me. And this room is actually famous. I'm going to say it's pareidolia, but they call it the Room of Faces. And I pointed some of them out here for you. There's many, many more on the other side. I wasn't going to spend time showing you every photo. But the whole thing is just full of faces, and it's extraordinarily nerve-wracking to step up into the doorway and look, because it feels like you've got eyes on you from every direction, and you almost literally do.
That's cool. That is
Yeah.
classic pareidolia. Yeah, that's cool though. I'm
Yeah.
gonna back
But
up real quick
Uh-huh.
because Ian said it looked like the reflection from the information placard off of this right here. Could be.
No, it's too offset from that, I believe. And it doesn't explain why it's not there in the picture before it and the picture after it. Like I said, I'm kind of hardcore about taking, like, standing still and doing, like triple shots. And then turning a little bit and trying to get my layout.
Yes.
yes.
These are cool. Oh, here's
Yeah.
a good one.
All right. So, okay, these from here on out, these are not our photos. I just wanted to bring so we could discuss orbs just a little bit, rods, and then I think I have some other with some like camera artifacts in it, like straps and things like that.
Yeah.
So these two photos here, the first one of like the cemetery area is actually a Troy Taylor photo. Shout out to him. I put his little thing up there from American Hauntings. And then the second photo is a very famous orb photo that you find all over the place. And I'm going to scream it to the mountains. Dust, dust, dust.
Yeah, these
And
are really
moisture,
cool.
moisture, moisture.
Yeah.
If this comes up in your shots, if you are out at a cemetery or even in a old building and you take photos and you just get groupings of orbs like this is not paranormal. I am sorry.
It would be cool if it was. However, it's been proven not to be. So
Yeah. I mean, heck, in the second shot, I think the deer are scarier than the damn dust orbs.
I mean, especially if I saw them on the highway.
yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
No joke.
I'm
Yeah, remember that
telling
night
you,
we came back?
there's-
Where were we coming back from?
we were coming back from the Greg, and the deer ran into the side of
No, it's when it was me and Pam and Jennifer, and we
Yeah.
were coming back
Oh, okay.
from Hutchison. No,
Where were we? I don't remember where
we were coming back
You went
from
to-
Winfield, right?
Oh, okay, yeah. I think you're right.
And yeah, because we kept calling Enzo every time we found
Texted.
another deer, and that was like every 5 seconds.
We got up to like
Like
30 some
100.
deer at least.
Yeah. At one point, we came
31,
up on a
32,
standoff.
33.
There was 2 giant bucks, one standing on either side of the highway on the shoulders, facing each other.
That was right by
getting ready to
Dexter.
go at it. Yeah,
That was,
it was
crazy.
crazy.
Poor
It was
Enzo, he's
not
home
ruining
all nice and safe, and we're like 32, 33, 34.
Oh,
Yep.
the rod.
Rod! So I threw in a picture
Yay!
of a rod. The lovely bug that flew through the shot. And this one here is being touted around Reddit right now as like a true cryptid or whatever it is they want to call it on there.
If you see
So you
the,
see the wing beats.
yeah, these are the
wing
wings.
beats.
It's just caught in slow motion or time lapse kind of.
I don't know what's better, the rods or when it's just a lone moth and it like comes right up in the lens and flaps once so you get like the angel impression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are cool. Too fun.
And the lovely camera straps. We used to see these all the time before people started going straight to like their phones.
Yeah.
All the time. Just
Yep.
little
Nylon.
wisps to the side.
You can see
Camera
the weave.
straps.
And they called them vortexes. They caught
Yeah.
a vortex.
Yep.
No, it's a camera strap.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I've got a couple of those actually.
Yeah.
The little wrist straps that goes on the little
And
digital
sometimes
cameras.
if you see it and it doesn't have you see how it's got all the little dotted looking things. If it's just straight, sometimes it's hair. If your hair blew in
Yeah.
front of the camera.
Yeah. We could have gone into a whole bunch of those. We could have done like cigarette smoke.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Lens flares. Holy cow. The lens flares are crazy.
Ian said we all wish to be visited by an angel. Alas, it's always a bug.
Yes.
That's right.
Alas.
Alas.
Oh, that was it. That was our last one.
That was it.
We are down to it. Holy cow. Like we didn't have too many as it was.
Right? I really didn't know if we'd get through all of those, so that was pretty good.
We did, and right on time. So there we go. You got to see from the last time all the way from like actual spirit photography where they were purposely doing it all the way up until now. I hope we like debunked some. I hope we showed some that made you think.
Yeah, for sure.
And who knows, some of the ones that we think are real maybe later on might be proved to be completely fake. We don't know.
That's the cool part. If you come back to this like 3 or 4 years from now, we may have completely different opinions on what we've showed you tonight because
Yep.
opinions change,
Mhm.
So
And I
And-
am going
That's
to put this out here. We are in a new age now, even than we were before. AI has reared its ugly head in the ghost photography world. So please be on the lookout for that. And a little hint, if you find a picture that you think is absolutely real, take a little screenshot of that there ghosty you see in it and double check it through Google and see if it pops back up somewhere else, because there's a very good chance that somebody used an AI duplicate.
well, even 10 years ago, there was apps that you could get on your phone that,
Oh,
a ghost
yeah.
app where you could put one into the picture.
Yeah. Just be leery.
I used to
With
have a
the AI.
camera that would it had ghost images
Preloaded kind of thing.
yeah, they were pre-exposed on it, and then when you took all your pictures, they'd come up in the pictures.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Wow.
It was one of those like Kodak, the wine that's got built-in flash, and the cardboard
yeah.
wrap.
You
Yeah.
were using a haunted
Take a picture
camera.
and then you go ka-chunk,
I
ka-chunk.
do.
Those are fun.
Well, that was great. Thank you very much for sharing those, because you got to show some of the investigations that you were on and some of the anomalous stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I will
I
say-
didn't know that you guys had actually been to the Crescent Hotel and all
I
that
have.
stuff.
Isn't that
Yeah.
the best
Yeah.
book ever?
Yeah, this is
John Fitzgibbon. Yeah.
the story behind the Crescent Hotel is bizarre, and the story is even better when it's in a cartoon type format, a graphic novel
Yeah.
format.
Sean
the-
Fitzgibbons.
The artist, he did all those in watercolor, painted them all by hand,
Yeah. he's
and
not-
did all the research himself. He took like 10 years to get that book made. And so it's pretty fascinating.
That story is so bizarre without even getting into ghost stuff.
Yeah.
How
It
it came to be is just so bizarre.
Yeah.
It
It
in
is a
fact,
really strange story.
just like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, I don't remember when, in my In Other Words podcast, we had Sean on to talk about his book and his art and how he created it. So if you're interested and you get a chance, go listen, because he spent an hour just telling us the whole story behind it. And it's just fascinating. That doctor was nutso.
Talk about cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
He was a
Yeah.
shyster, man. He was not a good person at all.
The last of the snake oil salesmen.
Yeah. Yep.
He was shooting for the fences though, where he bought out like the two local radio stations and was running like back-to-back commercials for his to come to the Crescent.
Yep.
Basically, he had the cure for cancer.
Yes.
It's called death.
He
Pretty
didn't
much
have the
cures
cure
everything.
for cancer.
No, in fact,
Well-
if he did himself no favors, because he ultimately died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
always a book. Yeah, this is Sean Fitzgibbons. He was at our
Was.
Paracon a couple years ago, and that's where I bought this book.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
And
Yes.
he's a really nice guy. Fascinating amount of work went
Yeah.
into this, and it's an amazing story.
It is. And he absolutely loves the Crescent. So
It
yeah,
looks like-
okay. Notebook time.
No, I was just flashing everybody so they could start picking their numbers. 'Cause it
Oh,
always
okay.
takes just a little bit while we're chit chatting about it. No, the Crescent is a crazy place. It's where I had one of the weirdest, I don't even know what to call it, time experience with my husband. We went up there for that investigation, and we left at it was like 1 or 2 in the morning when we left the Crescent. Of course, the Crescent is at the very top of a hill. And
Yeah.
in order to get down, you follow this one road all the way down, wiggling all over the place to the bottom where it opens up out into a neighborhood, and then you can leave the area. And my husband and I left at 1 or 2 in the morning, drove, going down, took a turn. Guess where we were? We were at the Crescent again.
at the top.
Not possible.
It's pretty right. That's pretty
Wait.
wild.
We lost 30 minutes of our time because we got to go down that hill twice. We were
How
worried the whole
did you do that?
You can't. Not only are the fact that there's no secondary way, that bridge is off that'll take you back there again, but we never went uphill. We were going downhill.
Are there slee stacks involved in this story? Are we
Right?
in a closed universe?
Crazy.
It was very weird.
Yeah, it's wild. That's a wild one.
Were you in the From land where creatures were coming out to attack you? I think I told you that story.
It was strange.
I did tell you that. I told you that story about From, that TV show From, when we went on our own little escapade when the bridge was out.
Oh, when you were in Geneseo?
Yeah,
Yep.
we were driving back from Geneseo, and just suddenly, bridge is closed. Can't go through here. It's like the GPS.
No
left
detour.
here. Didn't even-
Just
sorry, bridge is closed. Sorry, park's closed. Moose
Out
out
of
front
luck.
should have told you.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
oh my goodness. Okay, so we've got Ginger first for Notebook Games.
Best.
Notebook 5, page 42. So on this is hieroglyphs of the Micmac
Ooh,
nice.
And
the Tulsa Rock. So we're out of place artifacts, I guess. The hieroglyphs of the Micmacs, written languages, are almost non-existent in Native American cultures to the extent that only a single written language is known to have existed in North America and Canada. That single language belongs to the Micmac, a culture that lived on the Atlantic coast. It happens to match up uncannily to Egyptian hieroglyphs. Also on this page is the Tulsa Rock, which we've discussed on here. I don't know if we discussed it on here. I think we discussed it on the Fringe.
Yeah, I know we've discussed it someplace.
yeah.
Yeah. So this was found in June of 2010. It was a 500-pound sandstone rock that was pulled out of the Arkansas River right outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and had a carving on it of an ancient Egyptian bull. Like the hieroglyph of the bull that they're so famous for. It was discovered by Nick Johnson and his brother while looking for arrowheads and fossils in the river. It matches an Egyptian Apis bull. An Apis bull is an Egyptian deity symbolizing the strength of the pharaoh and the protector of the dead. Some believe it could be a Mithric bull of Irish Celtic lore. Nearby at Turkey Mountain is an Ogham inscription that says Gwyn, who was a famous Irish explorer. The Celts were influenced by ancient Egyptian and religion. So regardless of who it belongs to, it's extraordinary that it's there at all.
Yeah.
I don't have it written here. So the unfortunate thing that happened with this stone is the brothers gave it to OU to look at, and OU passed the buck to somebody else, and then it goes missing.
Yeah.
And when the gentleman called in to find out, hey, what's happening with the rock? Can we get it back? Or what's going to happen with it? They were like, oh, it wasn't anything. It got thrown out.
Yeah.
I'm sure the
That was
Smithsonian
not
got a
easy
hold
to
of it.
load in the back of the pickup.
That's aggravating. It's like, oh, did they send it to the Smithsonian?
Maybe.
Very possible.
Okay. So we've got...
That's me.
Hey, isn't that Mark? He cheated again.
Oh.
And I did my usual trick. It's today's date.
Oh.
This is a Oklahoma story from 2014, and up above it I have in parentheses Stikini story. Does everybody know what a Stikini is? Stikini is a Seminole American Indian folklore. It's kind of like a skinwalker. It's their version of it, only it's like a witch owl.
Yeah.
Members of the Seminole tribe, some of them were kind of baddies, and at night they would just kind of turn into these. I'll tell you a little bit about it, but I'm going to read the story because that's what I think this is on. They don't say it directly, but I think that's what they're meaning. I live in Oklahoma. One weekend, my friends and I wanted an adventure, so we went to explore the old Bird Creek Church in Sequoia, Oklahoma, a place my grandma had warned me against. First off, we heard weird things. It sounded like someone speaking and screeching in the woods, but since anything can be in the woods, we didn't think much of it. We kept walking deeper in. I kept asking my friends if they felt okay. They said they didn't, and I didn't either, and we started to feel like we shouldn't be there at all. All of our phones ran out of battery, but I had a flashlight, so we stayed. This kid is not smart.
Nope, you've been warned, yet you stay.
We should have gone home. We got to a place about a third of a mile behind the church where there were a lot of big rocks. Behind one, we thought we could see a large shadow. It was crouched down. I didn't think it was anything, so I stupidly yelled at it. This dark, tall thing stood up. It looked like it was breathing heavy. It had to be around 8 feet tall, dark, had a huge open mouth and what looked like wings. It came towards us and we all turned and ran back for the car. By the time we got there, it was gone, but my buddy complained that his back was hurting. We didn't check him until we got back home. Underneath his t-shirt, it looked like he had bite marks all over his back. We told his grandma about what happened, and she scolded us for going and told us to put tobacco that had been blessed underneath our beds and around the outside of our homes to keep it out. And that's the end of the story. So I'm assuming, I put it in parentheses here, Stikini story, because it sounds very much like it. Plus, that particular church in that town in that area is known for the Stikini legends going way, way back. And I have some notes on it here.
Ian said a stikini sounds like a skimpy swimsuit.
Well, maybe a bikini made of this thing a little less scary than what it was.
Maybe,
or
scarier.
Scarier, I don't know.
He also said, I swear the Smithsonian maintains a bunch of asbestos-contaminated warehouses to hide interesting things. I think so, too. That's what Ginger said. Oh, so it's at the Smithsonian then, huh?
Yeah.
The rock.
Right behind the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah. Is that a stikini?
This is a stikini.
Ooh.
Yes. So I pulled up my little thing on it. Stikinis, which are a type of skinwalker, are Seminole Native American monster legend prevalent in Oklahoma and Florida. The Stikini are sinister monsters. Originally, they were evil witches who transformed themselves into owl-type beings. By day, they resemble normal Seminole people, but by night, they vomit up their souls along with all their internal organs and become undead, much like folkloric vampires. They look much like a giant owl, and they feed upon human hearts. In some Seminole communities, speaking their name is thought to put you at risk of drawing one to you or becoming one yourself. Because of this, Stikini stories are usually only told by Seminole medicine people. Some communities regard them as boogeymen told to frighten children. It is said that if you see organs hanging from a tree, to leave them be, as Stikinis will leave their organs and souls on high branches to protect them until they return. It is said that destroying their organs will make sure they are unable to turn back to their human form and that they will die at sunrise. Others believe that if you steal them, the Stikini will be a slave to you and do your bidding.
Nice.
So that's what a Stikini is.
Cool.
Almost kind of vampire-y, if you think about it.
Yeah, kind
A
of.
little bit.
Very much.
A little
So. That's a good one, Mark.
Yeah.
The next one's Ian, book 4, page 69.
Oh, okay.
That is the month I was born in and the year. That was a good one.
Okay.
Youngster.
This page is all... okay. This is a crop circle one.
Cool.
Okay. So, this is straight from the BLT research logs. We've discussed it before. If you're interested in crop circles, it's the place to go. Go to bltresearch.com. They list all of the known crop circles, false or real, and all the studies done on them. It's an extraordinary site. And this is from that. This one is called the Blackened Seedhead Crop Circle, British Columbia, 2006. Information taken down by Nancy Talbot. The first reported 2006 Canadian crop circle, which was in barley, the crop barley, was discovered on July 31st in the rural farming community of Armstrong, British Columbia, about 140 miles north of the Washington state-Canadian border, by a local pilot. Not only was the shape of this formation rather peculiar, it appears to exactly replicate the bizarre shape of a UFO observed in the hours just before dawn of the day that the crop circle was found. Further, many blackened seed heads, which looked very much like the ones found in a 2010 Dutch circle, proven in lab tests to have been carbonized, were also discovered in this Armstrong crop formation. In the Hoeven Holland Formation, found August 2nd, 2010, burnt seed heads were found and reported for the first time. Blackened seed heads have been reported before, but were not truly burnt. They were blackened by a fungus called Eustiligo. Both circles were found after reported flashes of light. And down below, I have a little note to myself that says, see BLT page for full document and UFO encounter story.
And that's what Enzo has pulled up right now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
yeah, I think if you go onto the BLT page and go to just the crop circles section, it's one of the first ones towards the top because they're still actively studying it right now. You can go down and see all of the pictures of the formation. They'll show you pictures of the blackened seed heads. And what's really interesting with this one, and I'm not going to go and find it and read it for you because it'll take a while. This came with an amazing UFO experience that went along with it that matched the circle when it was done. So if you get a minute and if you like crop circles and UFO stories, go check out BLT Research and look that one up. It's an extraordinary one.
Doug and Dave stretching their legs. Oh, Doug and Dave.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Doug and Dave.
Those crazy guys.
It's funny. Oh, did you pull it up, Enzo? Here, let me pop it up here.
I don't know if this is the same one. It was near the top of the list. I don't know if this is the exact one that she was talking about, but
It's Nancy
certainly
Talbot.
certainly have a picture of a saucer there and some stick figure people looking on.
Yeah.
Oh, this is in
that
the
was in the
Netherlands, it
Netherlands.
says. So still pretty slick.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fascinating website. If you ever want to go down a rabbit hole, that's a great way to spend an afternoon.
Yeah.
What?
What is that?
Oh, they throw in every kind of research that's been done on or around a particular one gets put on there. And they'll tell you, too. They'll show it even when they think it's false. And they'll let you know, we're sure this is false and this is why. It's why I love their page so much, because they are not afraid if they claim one's real and then later on down the line they realize, wait a minute, we've made a mistake. This is where we can see that it was faked. They will go back and show that we were wrong. This is what happened. They are really fantastic at what they do. They're completely honest.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so the next one, book 3, page 56, is the Cursed Humberstone of Leicester, England. I believe this is from when we were doing the curse stuff, but I think it's one that didn't get done.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. Also known as the Hellstone, the Holy Stone, or the Humma Stone. It's a 20-ton rock seemingly out of place in the middle of an open meadow. It is cyanite granite, the nearest source of which is Mount Sorrel, 5.5 miles away. It is thought to have been deposited there by a glacier during the last ice age. As far back as anyone can remember, the stone has held a curse. Anyone who tries to mark it, move it, or disassemble it in any way will come to misfortune. Between 1756 and 1766, the upper parts of the stone were broken off so that a farming plow could pass over it. The landowner soon lost all of the property, family, and money, and died alone and penniless in 1810 in a parish workhouse. In 1925, a farmer decided to store some haystacks on top of the stone. The stacks suddenly burst into flames. The fire brigade was called twice, but as soon as they would extinguish it, the fire would relight. It caught fire again and then continued to burn for 3 more days. The town vicar once had the stone completely covered in dirt and then performed an exorcism over it. On his way home, he was thrown from his carriage and broke his hip.
Wow.
After hearing moans emanating from the stone one night, a man from Barkby named Pochin decided to investigate, armed with his revolver. Whatever happened that night is not fully known, but he managed to shoot off 2 of his own fingers in his panic, shooting away at something in the dark.
Whoops.
Yeah.
As one does.
Oh,
Yeah. When work began on a new road near the stone, a family living in a house next to the meadow containing the stone were disturbed by their 10-year-old son being menaced by a horned figure he claimed he saw at the end of his bed. He even drew pictures of the beast for his school teachers. The family quickly moved out. A number of years later, the boy's grandparents moved into the same home, where the grandmother claimed she had been throttled by a ghost and that it tried to choke her. In 1985, a man taking a driving lesson was driving past the stone when both he and his instructor claimed to have seen a UFO resembling a small silver disc hovering in the sky above the stone. The stone can still be seen today in Sandhills Avenue off Thurmaston Lane.
all right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There it is.
I like-
Yeah, I'm with Grandma. I've got a list of people I want to throttle when I become a ghost.
I'm trying to figure out how the dude blew off 2 fingers.
That was pretty impressive.
Might have been this guy. Who knows?
Well, if he's using a revolver, actually, if he had the gun where his fingers were up by where the cylinder meets the barrel, yeah, that's fairly easy.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Your hand covering this part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
it creates a cutting force. It literally cuts.
Breathe.
Yeah. Slice them right off.
That's
I've seen
crazy.
pictures.
There's a very tiny gap between there, and it will
Julie said thank
cut you.
Unless you've got a Russian Nagant.
Okay.
Man.
I got Tony's pulled up. Tony's is... Oh, we're hitting Kentucky again. This is a
Oh,
theme.
nice.
Yeah. Pruitt's Ghost of Kentucky. In 1938, in Pulaski County, a carpenter by the name of Carl Pruitt was said to have returned home from work to find his wife in the arms of another man. In a fit of rage, he strangled her to death while her lover escaped out the window. Seeing what he had done and feeling regret, terror, and sorrow, Pruitt retrieved his pistol and shot himself in the head. Rather than be laid to rest next to his wife, he was placed in a cemetery far from his wife due to the protest of her family. Alone and forsaken, even in death, Pruitt's ghost became vengeful. A few weeks after his burial, visitors to the graveyard began to notice a discolorization on his gravestone that gradually began to resemble a chain across the grave. It began attracting the curious to his gravesite. A group of young boys made a trip to the grave. One of them, in an attempt to prove he wasn't scared, threw a rock at the grave, causing a piece to chip off.
Oh, no.
The boy, whose name was James Collins, left the graveyard with his friends on his bicycle soon after. On his way home, he had a freak accident when his bicycle chain inexplicably somehow became wrapped around his neck, cutting and strangling him to death.
His neck. What?
I said inexplicably. No one knows how it happened. After the boy's funeral,
That's
his
crazy.
mother took an axe to the headstone, reportedly smashing it to pieces, while cursing Pruitt for her boy's murder. The next day, while hanging laundry, she slipped and fell, entangling herself in the hanging wires. As she struggled to break free, the clothesline tightened around her neck, strangling her to death. News spread of her desecration of Pruitt Stone, but when the townspeople went to the cemetery, they found it completely intact. The next victim was a farmer who was riding by the cemetery in a carriage with his family. He decided to stop and prove his courage by challenging Pruitt's ghost. He grabbed his pistol and took several shots at the headstone, chipping several pieces off. The gunshots scared the carriage horses. Oh my lord.
Enzo's reenacting for us.
I see that.
This is Carl Pruitt, by the way. This is the guy.
The gunshot scared the carriage horses, who bolted and ran out of control, causing the carriage to crash. The family was unharmed, but the farmer was killed after becoming entangled in the reins and strangled to death. Again, Pruitt's stone seemed to go unblemished once again. Fear of the ghost and the deaths caused the police to look into the situation. 2 policemen were sent to examine the stone and take photos. While there, one joked and made fun of the curse and of Pruitt. As they drove away from the cemetery, they noticed a strange light following the cruiser. No matter how fast they went or how many turns they took, the light kept up and seemingly got closer. Now at top speed, the driver lost control, crashing between 2 posts linked together with logging chain. The car flipped repeatedly, throwing the passenger officer free and safe from the car. After coming to, he ran to check on his partner, only to find him completely decapitated by the chain. Another man by the name of Arthur Lewis was determined to be rid of the cemetery and town of the Pruitt stone. He took a hammer and chisel to the stone to break it up and haul it away. People living nearby reported hearing loud hammering that abruptly stopped and was replaced by blood-curdling screams that also abruptly stopped. Nearby residents set off with lanterns into the cemetery to investigate. They found Lewis dead, with the chain used to lock up the cemetery gates wrapped around his neck. Inspection of the stone showed, despite all the hammering, it was completely intact. The cemetery fell into disuse shortly after Arthur's death. Many families choosing to move family graves to a more popular cemetery nearby. The cemetery was finally destroyed in 1958 by a strip mining operation. Wow.
That's wild.
It is wild. And it's one that I have a question mark with it. It sounds very much made up with maybe some truth behind it.
Yeah, more than likely.
But I think the tale has spun and spun and spun
that's
over
a lot
the years.
to have happen.
Yeah. But
Agreed.
fun one. Keep getting decapitated.
Pretty wild.
All right. Are we all finished with that?
We
all done with the
are.
notebook
That was
game?
the last one.
I think so.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to finish this out here. Everybody stick around for just a couple more minutes. We want to remind everybody we've got Bordertown Paracon coming up here August 8th. Pay attention to our Facebook and our website, www.bordertownparanormal.com, for more information as that comes out. We're going to be throwing out some more stuff. We threw out the schedule and the formal flyer a couple weeks ago, so go check that out on Facebook. Thank you to Enzo and Mark for coming and hanging out with us tonight.
Sure.
Yay.
Thanks for having me.
And be sure to check in with us every 2 weeks on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. for all new shows. The next one will be April 22nd. Enzo's going to be back on with us, and hopefully Mark, if he decides to come. We're going to start on Strange, Kentucky. Because
Yeah, we will.
there is a lot in Kentucky. I think we're going to hit it in little bits and pieces because, wow. Yeah,
There's a lot going on.
Pulled up the flyer there.
And don't forget, we have the Ghost Hunt fundraiser coming up the 17th, Friday the 17th at the Greg Theater in Sedan. And we still have some tickets available. So if you want to come fundraise for the Greg, it's an excellent little place. Very well worth the fundraising. So we're looking forward to it. Come hang out with us. Yeah. Come investigate with us and hang out. It'll be a good time.
Yep.
It will be a good time.
It will. It's going to be super fun. So really quick, if you haven't done it already, hit all those buttons, like, share, thumbs up, bells, and subscribe, and all that fun jazz. We'll see you here in 2 weeks for some Strange Kentucky. Remember, keep it weird, keep it strange, and it's all connected. Good night.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.